going on, guys? It is Johnny from CI Esports here today at CEX 2023. I am here with the world-famous, world-renowned Danny Martin from LinkedIn. How you doing, man?
I'm learning every day.
For myself personally, I think you're one of my first followers doing this job at CEI on LinkedIn. So Jad was always kind of vouching for you. He's like, just the guy to follow and kind of see how he's doing, how he's promoting content on LinkedIn. Yeah. And your content primarily revolves around Esposure. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Esposure and kind of how it made its mark on esports.
Yeah, for sure. Out of a necessity, educators across the world experience COVID and figuring out better ways to engage with their students. And we seen that opportunity because we just love gaming and we understand how gaming can impact communities. Yeah. And for us, we leveraged our 8,000 square foot esports studio and education center, as well as our technological platform. I have a development background. I spent about 3 years in Silicon Valley, so I'm very cognizant of technology and building tech startups. And we built that platform to make it easier for educators to gamify education. So they typically use learning management systems. We really wanted to build a learning experiential platform that allows students to not only take courses, but to apply those actual courses in a gamified manner and be rewarded for educating, being educated, you know? And so for us, we really merged those two things together because once individual learns, they have to go apply. Just like when you leave college and you're looking for a job and the job says you don't have enough experience. It's like, I paid a lot of money for this. This is my experience. But you don't get that job. And so we looked at it from the perspective of how can we build a platform and an environment, a space that allows individuals to touch, see, and feel esports, because these companies they're not billion-dollar companies just yet. They're still in scrappy startup mode, and they have to make very critical decisions in regards to who they're going to employ. And they typically will go for someone who has experience. So being able to work with high schools and in our particular area allows us to give that actual knowledge to students to say, hey, you can start building your portfolio right now. You better start building your portfolio right now. So therefore, when it's come time for you to go into the workspace or graduate college, you can go to your next employer confident with the perspective of saying, I can add value to your organization.
100%. And I think kind of what kind of draws us to each other is that Esposure and CI Esports are kind of doing something similar within the esports education space. They're kind of flipping education on its head, because obviously back in the day when you were growing up, obviously when we were all growing up here, is that gaming was seen as like a negative, right? Like, what are you doing playing games all day? But to kind of, like you said, gamify it and kind of be a reward system where like they're learning along the way, but incentivizing them through gaming, right? And I think this generation of kids actually benefits from that because that's what they know, right? You know, obviously we grew up on gaming to a certain extent, but these kids are portables now, you play on your phone, things like that. So I think having that foresight is something that really is remarkable, and I think it's really good work that you've done. And so now kind of bring it to CEX, what have you kind of done at CEX this year to kind of bring awareness to that, and what are you kind of looking for as you kind of been throughout this event today?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to be able to come and share some of our knowledge is because we work with high schools. So I really wanted to learn the collegiate ecosystem because for us, the better we can actually engage with collegiate programs, the better opportunities we can give to the high schools. As we're working night and day with our particular schools in Texas, like right now we have 14 different independent school districts that we work with, and Texas schools are very large. So from this perspective, I don't want to be in a position or a team where we're working with all of these students and we're not giving them opportunities to go somewhere, because that's not going to be authentic. So my goal and our team's goal is to go to these actual conferences that are geared towards collegiate, as well as work with some of the teams that are in the collegiate space, as well as the actual owners and the directors and the presidents of these teams, as well as the actual organizations that are non-endemic and endemic to the space. So therefore, these actual students can have a pipeline, because that's what we're literally trying to create. It's, we're in a position where you have the pros, but the pros are trying to struggle to figure it out, and it's because they don't have this pipeline. So being able to come to this actual, this CEX opportunity where you got these colleges and individuals talking about college, this gives a great opportunity for myself and our team to learn, so we can add better data and research to that of the students that we work with from a high school perspective. So I'm looking at taking this information back to our hometown and saying, guess what I learned, and here's how it can help you in your pathway to helping the actual industry be not only just successful, but be practical, be resourceful to the next generation to come. That's where my goal is, and that's what we're here for today.
it's constantly pushing the envelope forward, right?
Yeah.
Kind of constantly keeping the chain of esports evolving.
Yeah.
To where then, it's not, where it's today, it's not going to stay the same in the next 10 years. And I think that's the goal always for any organization in esports, right? And so my next question, though, to that is, with all this information you've learned through CEX,
yes,
what is now the long-term goal for Esposure? Do you want to kind of potentially go into the collegiate space down the road, or just want to strictly stay into the high schools for now and create that pipeline that is similar to like that of college football to NFL or college basketball to the NBA?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the way we're structuring our organization, and you'll probably see it, is we look at ourselves as like the IMG Academy.
Yeah.
Right. And when I think of that, I think of it from a perspective as we're helping these high schools develop their program. High schools, schools in general, educators in general are notorious for seeing and taking. So we know that they're going to see a program and that they're going to actively go implement it or figure out how they can implement it themselves. That's good. Like you're supposed to help them build out their programs, and I believe that's you guys' organization just as much. And so we automatically look at it as like, eventually, Mommy Tammy is going to have a son, and that son is going to have the opportunity to go to a public school for esports or a private organization for esports. And we want to be that option when it comes down to an academy level where our resources, us having the actual connections with the colleges, the non-endemic brands, the jobs, even the non-endemic jobs like Boeings and Raytheons and Best Buys and McDonald's. Like these companies also are looking at the skills that the students are developing as there are transferable skill sets, meaning collaboration, critical thinking, even just utilizing a keyboard at the fastest way possible, or even a remote control. If you want to be a doctor and you want to be a surgeon and you know that you have to use a controller to have that camera go through someone's body, you're looking at a TV while you're running that actual remote, a camera through their body. Like these are skill sets that architectural engineering firm looking at someone building in Minecraft or Fortnite. These skills are transferable, so we really want to be able to leverage our system, our technology, as well as our facility as a way to expedite the journey for that of students that says, hey, should I go to that public or should I go to a private academy that's Esposure? So I think our North Star is like Full Sail. Yeah, when I think of Full Sail in an Armada studio, everything that's going on in that facility is geared towards that of the students running the events and running the productions and the content and all of that. We want to be that same thing. So we not necessarily are a college. We're not necessarily a high school program. We're more so like our own entity that just gives another lens to that of the students that are really wanting to go. So I look at right now what we're doing is I'm literally trying to find, just like what I've seen with helping the actual athletes in 2K go, like seeing them go pro, I'm really looking at it right now as like, how can we find that next graphic designer, or how can we find the next event coordinator, and then leveraging our actual program as like, if you come through us, if we come through us, you're going to be like, it's like literally like going to Harvard or going to a prestigious school with a prestigious education. The
place to be.
It's like we're literally like, how do we make the place to be? And we know we have a long way to get to that point. So it's not nothing that's going to be next year, not something that's going to be 2 years from now. I've been in this industry for 11 years now, so I am very patient at this point. And it's been very hard. You got to be very conscious about the actual resources that you have when you don't have a lot, right? So I look at it as like, okay, well, like I know, I may get lucky if it's next year, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. So I'm already prepping for the next 10 years of like, it may happen in 10 years from now, where we really are that entity that is really helping individuals, take their passions to the very next level when it comes down to it. I really want students across the world to be able to say, I want to come through Esposure because the opportunity that they're given is next to none. But also, I want to see other organizations doing the same. Right. I don't want it to be just an Esposure. I want it to be other organizations out there because as they do it, that helps the whole ecosystem grow. So I think there's just a love for this space that I just want to see it successful. And every time that I hear the hardships of this space or how difficult it is, I kind of like, I hear it, but I also am like, Man, that's life. You know, life, like we talked earlier, life is supposed to be difficult. Like, it's not supposed to be easy. So, you know, this is the time where you hunker down, and this is the time where you solve a problem. They say all the time, like firefighters, you know, they are the ones going into the fire when everybody's running out of it, you know? If we're able to go to conferences and we're hearing challenges, this is our opportunity to be firefighters, you know? And then we also got to be able to teach the students that we impact how to be firefighters, you know? Because they're going to be the ones that's going to take this industry way further than we can be able to take it. So I think that's an overall perspective. I'm learning from these actual experiences from individuals and organizations like you guys, as well as being able to know that I can take that information back home and establish a program that is looked at as the Harvard of esports.
That is incredible. And I think the passion, obviously, and the desire you have for this space shows clearly. And I think hopefully in the next 10 years or so, you do accomplish many of those goals, accept yourself. And I think you've been through the fire, 11 years in the game, and I know I'm sure many more years to come.
Many more years.
So thank you guys for watching and really listening to the key words here of Danny Martin from Esposure. Danny, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time, man.
For sure.
Hope to see you soon.
I gotta ask you something. What are you learning right now with being with CEI, and what is your experience from the actual conference that you're attending today?
Oh my gosh, what have I learned?
And what is your age?
What is my age?
Yeah.
Oh man, 27.
Okay,
27. Yeah,
right.
so I was pretty young in the game still.
Okay, yeah.
What have I learned from CEI? Absolutely nothing. No, I'm kidding. Oh my God, it's been a whirlwind. I think my first event for esports in general was CEX in 2020.
Okay.
So before the pandemic, and so for me now to see the growth that the company has had,
Perfect.
and what we've done, and my knowledge of esports in general has grown tremendously.
Okay.
And I think for me now, I see the bigger picture that Jad has instilled in all of us, my team members, and that it's not just about the games, right? It's not just about being a professional.
Yeah.
It's about what you alluded to is that those skills, those social emotional learning skills, the leadership, the teamwork, communication, having those habits being built out over courses of years, so that by the time they do reach the high school level to where you're at, to the collegiate level, to even the career world, they are already set, and it's through gaming, right? And I think that's where the joy comes from for me, being here for now close to 3.5 years. It's been that, right? Perfect. Seeing the kids I've worked with grow and develop, and obviously, hopefully, they keep moving on that trajectory.
Perfect.
And CEX, man, it's just an opportunity to kind of network and meet people like yourself and meet others. And I met a good amount here today. I met Green, who's a former NFL player who's currently head coach for Lakeland University. Yourself, obviously Kevin Mitchell is a good friend of ours. So these different personalities, different people in the space are just so unique, and it helps me kind of put things in perspective and know that we have a lot to do, but we've done a lot as well. And I think that's a good thing.
I love it. Yeah, well, count on me if you ever need, the organization ever needs more content. Even if y'all want to come to the actual space.
A virtual tour for Esports.
A virtual tour, yeah, I seen it earlier. I was like, that's actually a cool thing to be able to do. So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm definitely all for it.
Press, man. Joe, thank you guys again, man. Again, thank you, Danny. And we'll see you guys next time.
For sure. Peace.